Welcome back, everyone. In the last lesson, we wrote the client-side code to manage the payment process with did create payment result and did finish with. I said that this was step 1 and step 3, respectively, and now we need to do step 2, which is our cloud function. So open up VS Code and have your Cloud Functions project open, and we are going to create a new cloud function called makeCharge. All right, so I'm going to do that right here below create Stripe customer. I'm going to say exports dot create charge is equal to functions dot https, and we're going to do another callable, so say on call, and then do open close parentheses and say async, and then open close parentheses again and say data and context, and then do arrow and open close curly braces. Very good. And just a reminder, if we come back into Xcode, the data that we are sending in this function is the total, the customer ID, and item potency. So back in VS Code, we can create some constants for those three variables. So I'm going to say const customer ID is equal to data dot customer ID. We can say const total amount is equal to data dot total. We can say const item potency is equal to data dot item potency. And we can get the UID from the context. So const UID is equal to context dot auth dot UID. And just like we did in our create ephemeral key function, we are going to do a check to make sure that this is coming from a authenticated user. So I'm going to copy and paste that right here. And now we are ready to write our code that actually contacts the Stripe servers and passes them the information. And again, we can see how to do that by checking out the Stripe documentation. And we can actually use what they have here in the idempotent requests section right here, stripe.charges.create, as a guide. So you can see that we have stripe.charges.create. Then we have the amount, currency type, source. We're going to be using the customer ID. And then the item potency key, and then the error and the charge. We're going to be doing this last part here a little bit different. We're going to be using the .then.catch pattern. So let's go ahead and write that out. All right, so we are going to say return stripe.charges.create, and then do an open close parenthesis, open close curly brace, and do a return. And this is where we are going to set the amount, currency, customer, and whether or not we want to capture it. Okay, so we're going to say amount is total amount, currency is USD, or wherever you are, whatever your local currency is. The customer is customer ID, and capture is true. Okay, so what is this capture? Let's take a look at that real quick. When we go down to charges, create a charge, we can take a look at capture here. And this is whether to immediately capture the charge, and this defaults to true. Oh, so never mind, we don't actually need that since it defaults to true. So I'm going to go back to Visual Studio Code, and we can remove that apparently. Good to know. And then we need to add our item potency key. So right here, before the last parentheses, add a comma, space, open close curly brace, and we're going to say item potency underscore key, colon, item potency. And then right here, we're going to say dot then, open close, parentheses, underscore, arrow, open close curly brace. And then right here, say dot catch. And then open close error, ERR, arrow, open close curly brace. And then close that all off with a semicolon. All right, so let's just take a look at what we did again. So we're saying return stripe.charges.create. Okay, so this return is required since we are in our callable function. And we're going to pass to the stripe.charges.create method the amount, the currency, and the customer. So it knows how much to charge and who to charge that to in the correct currency. And then we are also passing it the item potency key so that we don't have to worry about any repeat charges due to network interruptions. And .then, this is the success case, and we don't really need to do anything if we're successful. So we can just say return, and we'll be good. That will be a successful Stripe charge. If there is an error though, let's go ahead and say console.log error, and that will log to our console in the functions dashboard, the error. And we can say throw new functions.https error, and we need to provide the error code. We can say internal, and we can give the message unable to create charge. Very good. All right, so that is our create charge cloud function. And just to recap once again, we start out here in Xcode when we press the pay button, and we come here to did create payment result. We send up the total, the customer ID, and the item potency. And that comes to our cloud function here, where we extract those from the data. We do a check to make sure that this is coming from an authorized source. And then we contact the Stripe servers and we pass it the amount, currency, and customer and item potency key. And if that charge is successful, then we return to our client app with a successful status, or if we had an error, then we return that as an error case, and then we present to the user an alert showing if we were successful or not. All right, so let's go ahead and deploy this function and test this out. I'm excited. Let's save it. I'm gonna open up terminal. All right, go ahead and make sure you are in the correct directory for your cloud functions. Also make sure that you are logged in with the correct Google user. And so if you say Firebase login, it'll show you which account you are logged in under. All right, so make sure that that matches your Firebase project. And then we're going to deploy our function. So I'm just gonna say Firebase deploy. Whoops, gotta spell deploy right. Firebase deploy. And we're gonna go ahead and wait a minute for those to deploy, and I'll be right back. All right, our Firebase functions are deployed. So let's go ahead and give this a test, shall we? I'm gonna go back to Xcode and run this. You'll also want to have your Stripe dashboard up with your Artable project selected here. All right, so let's try this out. I'm gonna click on landscape photography, add a couple of items to our cart, go to the cart, and we're going to have a payment method selected. Let's go ahead and go with the Visa. And let's add our shipping method. I'm gonna say next and select FedEx. How about? Say done. And we have a total of $64.89. And I'm gonna say place order, and let's see what happens. It says unable to make charge. All right, so let's see what's going on. Oops, I see what it is. I said make charge here, but when I made our cloud function, I said create charge. So I'm gonna copy that and paste that right here, create charge. And let's try that again, save it and run. All right, let's go ahead and add a couple of products again. Go to our cart and set our shipping method. I'm gonna say FedEx, say done. And let's try that out again. Place order. Ooh, success. Thank you for your purchase. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna say okay. And we pop the checkout view controller as expected. All right, so let's go ahead and make sure that actually worked. I'm gonna go back into Safari and check out our Stripe dashboard. And if we come over here to payments, we should see, if we refresh this, oh, there it was. Our brand new payment of $64.89. It was successful from the johnnyart2@test.com customer. So if we come to our customers and we take a look at this account, we can see down here the payments for this customer. We have some additional information here, the description, the customer, the day, and the amount. So there we go. We have implemented the Stripe payment process in our very own e-commerce app. It has been a long and winding road, but we did it. Hope that this is super exciting for you, being able to actually see all of these pieces come together. We've been doing a lot of work and a lot of different things. You've learned about Firebase authentication, cloud functions, backend cloud functions, and how that integrates with third-party servers like Stripe, and seeing all of that come together here, being able to actually make Stripe charges. This is, this is actual money, if this was in production, that would be going into your Stripe account. So this is super cool. All right, so we are going to continue on in the next lesson, and I'll see you there.